안녕하세요. 의사결정을 도와주는 남자 의도남입니다. 오늘은 한국에서 해외 취업을 준비하시는 분들이 가장 궁금해하는 질문 중에 하나인 해외에서 일을 하려면 또는 미국에서 일을 하려면 얼마나 영어를 잘해야 되나요? 에 대한 질문에 대한 답을 얻고자 저희 회사 미국 직장 동료를 모시고 인터뷰 진행을 하도록 하겠습니다. 물론 잡 인터뷰 때도 그렇고 이제 실제 일할 때도 그렇고 다양한 상황이 있을 것 같은데 저희는 조금 일반적인 관점에서 접근을 해서 질문을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 그러면은 제 직장 동료를 모실게요. Hey Beth.
Hey Paul.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
It's really great to have you. Today we are going to talk about English communication skills required to be able to work in the US, and then we're also going to talk about like how can we improve English as a foreigner. So before we get started, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So I'm a product manager in a large software company, and I've been working for 20 years. I've always worked in large companies with multinational people, all kinds of different people from all kinds of different countries. So I've had a lot of linguistic challenges in my career of 20 years.
Well, that sounds very exciting.
A lot of adventures.
Yeah, okay. So my first question for you is that have you ever experienced miscommunication or frustration because of the language barrier at the workplace?
I had one recently where I was interviewing a person for a technical job, and they misunderstood several of my questions, and also I had a hard time understanding their answers. Let me give you one example. They completely misunderstood one of my questions. I asked, what's your greatest achievement? And if you understand the English language, what's your greatest achievement is a past tense, like what happened in the past. But he answered with his greatest achievement will be doing yoga in San Francisco. So he missed the understanding of my question. And then there was many other answers that I really could not understand exactly what he was saying.
Got it. And that happened in the job interview
Yes.
you mentioned? Okay.
Yes. So we had to turn him down specifically because of the inability to speak English.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was unfortunate because otherwise he was a very highly qualified candidate.
Understood. So second question for you is how fluent do you think one needs to be in English in order to be able to work without any communication issues?
I would say you need to be an advanced fluent speaker in English, which means that you can understand pretty much everything said, like perfectly understand it, be able to communicate almost like 90% perfect. Occasional errors in grammar or pronunciation are fine. In fact, it's very funny sometimes if someone pronounces a word a little bit wrong, which is it just makes it more enjoyable as a workplace. But they still do need to understand everything, and even if they make a few grammatical errors, just the small grammar errors, I would say, are fine. Pronunciation errors, small ones are fine. I would say that's what you need to do to get a job and to be successful in the workplace.
I think that's mainly because we need to really have a lot of interactions with, coworkers across the teams, and also need to be able to communicate with managers clearly.
There's so much subtlety in English.
Yep.
I don't know about a lot of other languages. I've studied other languages a little bit. But in English, there's so many ways to hide what you're trying to say.
Yep.
And depending on the culture of the teammate, they may be very roundabout, and you need to understand English enough to suss out the information that they're hiding from you.
Okay.
In technical and finance, R&D, engineering, you're going to need to really understand the requirements of the system and how to build it correctly. Yep. So there's a lot of nuance, and people don't usually just tell you the information. So you do need to be a little bit better in English than if you were just maybe working in a factory.
Got it. Okay. So then from your perspective, what is the most important factor in being able to speak English fluently, whether it be grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation? What do you think?
I really think you basically need all of those to be at a certain level. And it doesn't all have to be perfect. You could have a few grammatical problems and a little bit of, like, what's that word? and a little bit of pronunciation problems.
Yeah.
But if you are lacking in all of those at the same bottom level, then you're not going to make it. So you need to sort of bring all of those three up and have them pretty proficient in each. You don't have to be perfect at all of them, because if you can speak mostly, the grammar is mostly there, and you maybe pronounce the word here and there a little bit wrong, it's fine. We can still understand each other.
Okay, sounds good. My next question is, I know you've been an active Toastmaster. Can you tell us about the best practices for improvement in English?
Yes. So Toastmasters is an international non-for-profit organization.
Yep.
We're in almost all countries across the globe, and we have a learn by doing method to learn English or whatever language. We actually have bilingual clubs that are teaching French or Chinese or some other language. The person does a prepared speech, and then they have a written and verbal evaluation, and that will help them have actionable improvement planned for their own speaking level. Then we have improvisational speech, which means you walk up to the front and you're given a topic and you have to give a 1 to 2 minute speech on that topic in front of the audience. Now we have helpers who are listening for ahs and ums, which are filler words like, so, you know. Those words tend to fill up a sentence and make it hard to understand. And then we also have grammarian who listens for grammar, both good grammar and bad grammar, and gives a report.
Okay. Just quick question for you. Do you think foreigners, do they tend to use more filler words?
I think whenever someone is nervous, they use a lot more filler words. So it could be a teenager who's very unsure of themselves. It could be someone who's just in a situation that they feel uncomfortable. But I think foreigners do tend to fill up their sentences the more nervous they are.
From your perspective, what are the best tips for improving one's English?
Yes, I have a really great tip, which I used with my mentee back a few years ago. He came from India, and he had a very thick, strong accent. His grammar was pretty rough. I would say his vocabulary was a little bit shaky. And what he did was he listened to audiobooks and then had the paper book or Kindle version, and he would follow along with the book and while listening. So he's learning pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary all at the same time. This is a really great method, and now he has almost no accent. People don't think he needs sponsorship in the U.S. because they think he's a native-born citizen. Okay. So this is a really good way to learn how to listen.
But just
speak.
listening and reading a book, not actually speaking, right?
You're
While
listening,
you're listening,
and you're listening to the pronunciation, and you're reading along.
Okay.
Another way to improve your English is to read and copy onto sheets of paper. This is actually a way that writers learn how to write in other styles. So they'll copy Hemingway or Steinbeck. Right?
Okay.
So they're looking at the words and they'll write. This is a really good way to learn grammar and more vocabulary.
Yeah.
Another great thing to do is use Grammarly. And you can use this on your Word or chat messages. And this will help you grow your vocabulary as long as you're paying attention. So make sure that you're paying attention to all the grammar replacements. Instead of just turning off your brain, make sure your brain is turned on so you're learning from the grammar changes.
Yeah, I often use Grammarly for my professional emails, especially when I'm sending email to senior leadership. I always want to check whether I'm correct in grammar, and then that tool also helped me be more concise.
Yes.
So I think that's a great tool.
It's very, very good.
Okay. So last bonus question is, I'm curious right now, how do you assess my English?
I would say you're advanced.
Okay.
We've been working together for a year and a half, and I feel like you always understand whatever I'm trying to say, and I usually can understand anything you're trying to say, and we are dealing with technical topics, so I would say you're an advanced speaker. You occasionally have dropped endings or verb tense misalignment, but I can understand what you're trying to say, and we get our work done.
Yeah, I still feel like I have a lot of room for improvement, and then I'll take your advice and start listening the audiobook so that I can be better at
Excellent.
English. Okay.
Wonderful.
Nice. Any closing thoughts or comments to viewers?
Yes, I would say that even if you're not planning to move to the US, that learning English is really beneficial because most countries have a lot of English speakers and a lot of professions also, they speak English in the office. So knowing how to speak English will really help you expand your potential across the whole globe.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Thank you.
All right, but really appreciate your time today. I'm pretty sure that your insight will help my viewers get a better understanding of how proficient they need to be in English to work in the US. Thank you very much.
Thank you.